One of the best ways to start young people in gardening is to give them a container and the plants and let them design and plant a container garden. And I have the pleasure this morning of having Katie Wampler with me. And Katie's a good gardener. She gardens out in the ground at home, but she's never before planted a container. So I thought I'd take her through the routine of planting one and let her help me, and the next time she can do one all by herself. This is going to be what we call a shade plant container. And when we get it all planted, we'll set it in a nice shady spot because the kind of flowers that we use are all suited for growing in light to moderate shade. All right, let's take that big container of potting soil and notice how easy it is to pick up because, yeah, rake it out. It's lightweight potting soil made with pine bark and peat moss and perlite. Got a little bit of plant food in it to keep the plants nourished and happy. Now, Katie, I like to start with setting the big plant in the center, and we've chosen Dragon Wing Pink Begonia, and you can see why it's named Dragon Wing because the leaves are shaped just like, surely the last time you saw a dragon, you noticed that kind of wing, didn't you? Okay, let's set it here. And we don't want to bury it, so we will have the top of the root ball about an inch or inch and a half below the rim of the pot, okay? Now we're going to set some false plumbago around it. If you'll knock that pot, that root ball out of the pot, and we'll sort of set these three an equal distance apart around the plant of begonia. Okay, set yours in. Now pick up one plant of lamium. What does that silver leaf remind you of?
Well, at our house we have a bunch of lambs here, and it looks like lambs here, and it also feels a little bit like lambs here.
Well, that silver also looks good between the blue and the pink colors. Set it in between. Now, does that root ball need to be butterflied a little bit, broken apart some? Yeah, and that'll loosen it up so the roots will grow better. All right, set it in, and I'll handle another one over here. All right, let's take this and fill in around the plants because we don't want those root balls to dry out.
Yeah.
Okay?
How about you use one of the pots?
Yeah, use that flower pot to do that. And while you're doing that, I'll also put some around over here. Now, what do you think is the next step after we get this all planted and filled in, before we set it out in a shady spot?
To water it?
Well, absolutely. We've got to settle that soil down and get those roots started in that new potting soil. Now, I'm going to shake and bake here a little bit to settle that down. You got yours done?
Yep.
Okay. And it looks good all the way around, so we'll water this and set it out in a shady spot where there's not a lot of wind because these plants have been shook up a little bit by transplanting, and we don't want the wind to suck the moisture out of them. Well, thank you, Katie. And now one last thing I want to tell you is you have to put your ear down to these plants and you have to ask them, hey, how do you like it in that pot? And they'll tell you in very soft voices, thank you, Miss Katie, thank you.